Hello, everyone. I'm here with Michelle Love. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for
Hey,
joining.
Matt. Thank you for being here this week. We really appreciate it.
So we're wrapping up our first series here.
We are. We are at Flight D today.
So we have Flight D. This was the first test I looked at yesterday morning, and I looked at it and I said, "Oh my God,
So did we.
this is tough." And the theme of all the series are an out of order flyer
hmm
and some sort of short bird, dead bird, in relationship to the flyer. Both memory birds,
Right.
which makes it hard.
It does. And then when you interrupt it by having to pick up one bird, leave the other two birds in the field and have to pick up a blind, and then you're burning more memory, then you have to go get those other two very, very tight marks. It makes for a heck of a day here in Flight D.
So let's describe this a little bit. What was the first bird shot? The flyer?
The first bird out is a short bird on the right.
The short bird, which throws really virtually right almost in line with the flyer guns.
It is right in front of their holding blind, and most of the dogs and some of the people aren't able to see most of that fall. You see the last maybe third of the fall.
Because it goes through the canopy.
Because it goes through the canopy of the trees. It's a beautiful bird, but...
So they throw the short bird underneath the flyer, they shoot the flyer, and then they shoot a dead bird off to the left.
Off to the left, correct.
Pretty much everybody's picked up the dead bird on the left first.
Pretty much. We've had a couple that pick up that flyer first, which has made it even more interesting.
So you pick up that bird and you run a blind. But let's talk, the meat of this test, obviously, then is that short dead bird underneath the flyer.
Yes.
And I say underneath because it's short of it. There's not a lot of room to hunt there. You expand. So if you go for it before the flyer, you've got the risk of hunting and switching.
Right.
If you pick up the flyer and then go for it, well, you can go back to the old fall.
Absolutely.
Or you can line past it. The first blind you pick up is to the right, correct?
Correct.
So you've got two old falls.
You have two old, exactly. Exactly.
If that situation.
Yeah.
Really tough. Really tough.
Yeah.
And then you got that blind right over that mound that's going to deflect them.
There is a mound there, and the judges were pretty specific that they wanted to see you challenge that blind by going over that mound or touching that mound in some way, shape, or form. So
the mound,
you've got that mound.
And then you got the cover on the mound. So
There's cover on the mound.
They're going to flare that. I mean, I'm sure, I don't think many dogs would have lined over that.
We've seen a couple that have really gone up and straight over that mound, but most dogs get a nice little quick whistle and then get put over that mound. So it's, yeah.
So you certainly, like in all these situations, you got to watch where your flyer goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if the flyer is short, it's closer to the short bird. So there's some variance in that.
There is. And sometimes you don't want that long bird either, because when you get that long bird, now you've lost that whole scent pile out there.
Oh, so they end up having, and again, anytime you hunt a flyer, and especially a flyer memory bird, you've got lots of different falls, and the dogs have to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you do here?
Well, we have nicknamed this test Survivor.
Okay, well,
because nobody wants to handle in the first series, but sometimes you have to in order to survive, and that's what we did. We had a handle, and we were happy to come off that line with only one.
So did you handle on the short right-hand bird?
We did. She did not see it, and so we punched through to that flyer first, and I actually sent her back on a very similar line and told her dead, and we were going to go get that short one. And when she got out there close enough, it was time to put her over there. Stop and put her over on it.
So you went for the strategy of, I better go with a clean handle.
I'm going to go with what she saw. And so that's what I went with first, and then I wanted to get that clean handle. There was no sense because I saw too many dogs get into an old fall or switch. Okay. And
that's
a handle sometimes gets you through. A switch or an old fall does not. So we weren't going to take any chances. Not in the first series. Can't take your handle with you next weekend. Might as well use it now.
But I'll tell you, I mean, so you had a high ratio of handles on this.
We were kind of doing the statistics last night. Our stake marshal and our line marshal, we were kind of looking at it, and it appeared that we had an 89% handle rate yesterday.
Wow. So 89%. It is survival.
It is survival, but survival to play the next test.
So, you hope you have a couple good blinds. You hope you have good solid marks on at least two of the three.
Yes.
And a clean handle.
Yes.
It'd probably be a pretty good job.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So the other thing that struck me here compared to some other sites, because is that I think makes it difficult is both, well, the left bird, but mostly that short bird, the holding blind is totally concealed.
Absolutely. You cannot see it at all.
So there's no outline of the holding blind, which helps dogs identify, oh, there's a gun station. Really tough.
Yeah, really and tough. When they get out there, sometimes they even go past that bird because they never saw it. Then they circle back around and get that flyer because it's not far offline. I mean, you have very very close areas. It's hard to establish a good hunt in there without having that whistle in your mouth and be ready to go, because from a half a second it can turn into a swing.
Right, and when you've got birds that are that close to each other, you think of the fall area. Sometimes they actually overlap.
Yeah.
But if you hunt one and then pick up another one, that's a switch. If you go back and put your nose down in old fall, that's return to the old fall.
Yeah.
Both death sentences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's been a challenge. I mean, it is a really nice, challenging test, but it's not for the weak in the knees, that's for
So
sure.
what would you expect? Oftentimes you're going to have a lot of handles back, of course.
Right.
Were you thinking that if you had other good marks and a reasonable handle, that's going to be a pretty good job?
I
if
think
you had
so.
2 handles, you're probably done, right? That's pretty much
Two handles, you were honoring on lead.
right.
Oh, did we even talk about after you do all that, then you get to honor?
Oh,
Yeah. So
do we have any dogs break on the honor?
I have not seen one. Doesn't mean it didn't happen, but I've not seen one break on the honor. Let's not, knock on wood somewhere. Knock on wood, but yeah, I have not seen that yet. I think these dogs, because of the heat out here, they're so tired by the time they get to the honor, they're just like, I'm ready.
Well, good. Well,
Yeah.
we're pretty close to wrapping this up.
We're pretty close. I think we got about 10 dogs left. And I looked at the board earlier. It looks like we had about 26 pickups in this test. About 26 dogs that were picked up. It's changed a little bit from yesterday to today. We have the same kind of heat. We've now got a little bit of cloud cover out here, but we've had a lot of pickups today. Some double handles or some no get in here's, and
So we're just getting started here.
we're just getting started, getting this party started here in Thomasville.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Pat.
Best
We
of luck
appreciate
to you
all
the
you
rest of the trial.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody at home.